lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan, and back with me, one of my best buds in the world, Dylan. Back to talk some comics with me. We did a Ghost Rider episode a couple months back.
And then we were all super excited. Yeah, Dylan's gonna be
yeah.
back. Let's freaking go. And then just nothing.
Yeah, and Dylan just ghosted me. No, I'm just joking. We were supposed to record, but
That's not far from the truth, though.
Life happens. I think we had something scheduled. I got a new job in the meantime, so like things have been kind of up in the air. But we are definitely going to be planning to make this a more regular thing. You know, talking old comics, talking some new comics. But today we're going to talk about a character that Dylan did not like for the longest time. We're talking about Booster Gold, and I had said the praises for this book for so long. I had talked about this book, maybe not to you.
Anytime you would mention, I would particularly mention Booster Gold. Your words immediately after is like, well, you got to read the Geoff Johns run, bro.
Dude, because look, Booster Gold is a character that I didn't care one way or another about. First of all, Dan Jurgens created the character. He's the artist on this book. He eventually will take over writing post the Geoff Johns, Jeff Katz stuff. But you know, I know him from like the Justice League, the Keith Giffen, JMD Matisse, and Kevin Maguire run. So like the Booster Gold Blue Beetle dynamic has always been something that as a diehard DC guy, like was always something I loved. But it wasn't until
I love the Blue Beetle.
until Infinite Crisis, which led into 52, which gave us a Booster Gold that we've never seen before. You know, it finally made sense why he portrays himself as this fucking idiot, you know? I guess post 52. So like it's not his entire, some of his stupidity was stupidity when he first comes back, because you know, Booster Gold comes back from the future, he steals some technology, he was rigging football games, you know, which he was a football player, it's for betting and stuff like that. And
he was doing the Back to the Future sports almanac thing. And Skeets would do sports almanac, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just love like, so basically 52, like was that weekly comic that DC did post Infinite Crisis, the Trinity was gone. And a lot of other characters were given the spotlight. We had Renee Montoya become the new Question. We had Booster Gold get the spotlight. Black Adam and Hit the Black Adam family had a spotlight. A lot of great stories came from that. It's like so good. But this was probably to me the best thing to come from that, because Booster Gold was helping to there was a mystery surrounding like he was working with Rex Hunter and
he was working with Rex Hunter,
preparing stuff like the timeline and shit, and that's what this whole series is basically about. At least the first arc. I think it becomes something else like down the line, but
it becomes a Blue Beetle resurrection mission.
Yeah,
at the last two issues of this particular arc.
So this arc all deals with why he's gonna, even though he's become this really big hero, very important, wants to join the Justice League. He's about to join the Justice League, but
literally starts sports almanacking disasters.
Yeah,
so we can stop him. It's like and one of the panels say, okay, he meets up with the Justice League and he proposes he wants to join the Justice League, and they're all like, hell no, hell no, hell no. Batman's like, oh wait, hold up, he helped to stop Brother Eye. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt for Blue Beetle. You know what I mean? For the homie Blue Beetle, let's just give him a shot. So they give him a week, and he starts sports almanacking.
The friggin' just the panels of all the newspapers that he's like thwarting all these crimes.
I mean, which like it's actually genius, but also you have to think about. So he's literally changing the trajectory of time himself. He's manipulating time for his own benefit, right? Albeit he's doing good things. You know,
I know they kind of ignore it. They kind of ignore the fact that like he is changing the future with everything he's doing, right? Yeah. Or you could look at it like, well,
it was bound to happen. It was always
yeah. So like, there's always that
to happen. Like, yeah. So it's the whole time paradox thing.
I love time travel, dude. I'm fucking. I mean, You asked me my favorite movie. I've said this before. Back to the Future is the first thing that pops into my head. I can't help it. That's my go-to comfort movie.
You know, okay. Back to the Future was my favorite time travel movie until I saw Butterfly Effect. Right? Then that's a
great movie.
Right. And then that shit fucked me up. Right. You know, it all the time paradoxes and like all this, like it made me tolerate X-Men time travel shenanigans a little bit more. Like you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, back to Booster Gold. So yeah, he's doing all these things. He has 1 week to do it, and the Justice League is like, you know what? Hell yeah, he's doing it. They flip a coin, whatever, and they offer him membership.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up what he has to do, right? Because Rex Hunter, who you don't know yet, but some stuff happens with Rex Hunter down the line. Like you really should finish off this series. I'm going to. It's very hard to not talk about.
Like, how many more volumes are? Is it like 2 more volumes?
No. This went on, I think 30 something issues. It ended because of Flashpoint. I think there was like 36 or 37. So I only have the first. I think I have the first 3 trades, and then I got the rest in single issue. I think is how I finished it off. But it's funny too, because like you have like not his descendant, but his predecessor.
He's the descendant.
So his like great grandfather is like such a fucking idiot, like
fucking loser. Like, I love the fact that his best friend is some kid on Xbox Live.
Oh my god, dude! It's like, this is probably one of the funniest Geoff Johns has ever been. Like, humor just not usually doesn't do well in comics. I guess it's different because it's a superhero. I think that, like, I would compare something recent, like Peacemaker, the book by Kyle Sarson. That shit is so funny. I heard
it was really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yet another book that's literally on my never-ending TBR.
Yeah, you got to check it out. But this is funny, dude, because Daniel's like, he's sitting there wearing this Supernova costume, which is tied to Booster's DNA, which is why he can wear it. And he helped in like 52 and stuff. So he's just like sitting around the house wearing it, playing Xbox. Dude,
it's the best ever, dude. It's like, if I was a superhero, it was like it was a little bit of my downtime. Like, like, I'll keep the cape on. Why not?
So the whole impetus of this whole trade, this whole volume is coming into play, right? Like, he's got to save the timeline. There's a lot of stuff that's happened. Somebody is attacking key moments in history, and Booster is being tasked by Rex Hunter from the Time Masters to fix it. You get like little bits and pieces of like the multiverse and stuff. Like the
I thought that was different
timelines.
Cool.
0 hour,
all the wormholes,
all
the ripples in time that they kind of like pass through. What's really cool about this, what I really liked, it wasn't like, oh, go back in time and kill baby Hitler type thing, right? It was more like, go back in time and make it and do something like butterfly affect it to the point where it looks like no one interfered at all. So it was like assassination plots on people you didn't like have any idea would even cross paths. Like, my favorite one was Guy Gardner and Sinestro, and how he had to go back in time and stop them from meeting, because that in turn would delay meeting. Abin Sur meeting. What do you call? Hal Jordan, right? And like, I like that little reveal where, like, they're essentially in the same spot, and the ring would have chose Guy Gardner before it chose Hal Jordan. That's wild to me. Like, I love Guy Gardner.
It's weird because you don't think, like, a lot of people would argue, like, why would somebody like Guy get the ring? For the longest time, I think they definitely have I don't want to say repaired, but they've made it so that it's not hard to believe that somebody like him would get a ring. His personality, as brash as he is, he's become one of my favorite characters. I mean, I love how much of a douche he was back in those comics. Watching Batman knock his ass out was like still one of my favorite panels. But I love this because, like, before we get into some of the anomalies he's fixing, like, he's being told that he has to do that. He can't join the Justice League. Like, he has to go do this. He has to keep playing the fool, and he's like, I'm about to join the greatest Justice League of all time. And when he gets that, it changes. The membership changes to where Hal Jordan dies, right? And then he's like, he shatters it, and he's like, no thanks. But you could see, like, in Batman's look, like, he's like, wait, what the fuck is he looking like that for, right? Like, he's a little taken aback. So then we get, like, now he's going to go back and he's going to fucking prevent some of these things from happening. The one thing he wants to do, which of course he wants to do, is bring Ted back to life. Ted Kord, Blue Beetle. And but he's told he can't do it. And obviously he can't, because that is something that's like, there's certain events that are set in stone, and you learn that throughout this arc that cannot be changed, right?
Yeah.
And one of those
this is the wildest thing. I think this is one of the most wildest ways to prove a point ever, right? Like it is such a significant moment too, because it's something that resonates, that resonates. Like when this event happened, it was almost as big as the death of Superman, right? Because of the story that it was tied to. And of course we're talking about Barbara Gordon getting shot by the Joker in The Killing Joke, right?
Yeah.
Which at the time of that, when at the time that was written, it wasn't supposed to be canonical, but it eventually, it was such a, it sent such a shockwave through, like, pop culture, and just culture and pop culture in general, that it became canonical. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was and to have that be the way to prove a point that things can't be changed. Some certain things can't be changed. It's nuts, dude.
The
Like,
panels.
yeah.
The panels of him repeatedly, like, as well. I mean, we're spoiling this. They just first of all, they just re-released this trade because of the James Gunn announcements. It's easier to find. I'm really annoyed that they only released it as like the single volume. I think they should have done what they did with Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle, which is they're doing like the thicker books, the 12 issues per. They should have done this with this. Like, I don't understand how you don't re-release all of them. You just do the first trade. But anyways, so if you're spoiled, sorry. This book's been out for fucking at least 15 years, probably longer than that. I'm probably wrong with my math. But the panels of, him trying to save Barbara are just, it's heart-wrenching, dude. It's heart-wrenching. And like, we've also skipped past a couple of the stories, but watching him try to save her, and he's getting hurt in the process, and then finally after that realizing, like, you cannot change time. Like, certain events cannot change no matter what. And that's how he's taught the lesson. And that in and of itself, you don't see Booster in these situations very often, and I think it makes him a more likable character. I think it makes him a more layered. He's got more layers to him. He's not so he's not so one-dimensional anymore.
Yeah,
he's not this joke.
I mean, my original thoughts on Booster Gold, as Ryan would tell you, I fucking hated the guy. I fucking hated the guy. But it wasn't until that very moment, and that's funny that you mentioned that. Like, I feel like out of this whole comic, that was one of the most poignant things to stand out in the comic for me, because at that point, this guy Booster literally did all these things out of selfishness and fame and glory, right? Mm-hmm. But to save Barbara, the woman that his best friend loved, to save that shows a whole new side of Booster that I don't think anyone was expecting. I think that was like a defining moment for who he was, who he is, and who he has the potential to be as a character is fully realized, right?
I just think that this is such a criminally underrated run. It's not talked about nearly enough. I think that from beginning to end, it's very solid. Even when Geoff Johns and Jeff Katz step away, Dan Jurgens takes over the book completely. But it's just such a fun book that's connected to the DC universe, but kind of set out on its own, so that it's not overly complicated with events and stuff like that. I mean, eventually it does with Flashpoint, but that's besides the point. But the groundwork is all laid here. And you see Rex Hunter, you see somebody else wearing the Supernova outfit, and like, you're wondering, like, who is that, right? Like, there's a mystery because it's not Daniel anymore. And you get to meet Jonah Hex. You get to see an adventure with Barry and Wally as Kid Flash, which is fun.
That's the cameos in this are pretty solid too. I like how Jaime makes an appearance. There's like the Legion of Blue Beetles. I think that's great. Max Lord, revisiting the Brother Eye stuff. This book definitely changed my perspective of the Blue Beetle.
Booster Gold.
Booster Gold. I'm sorry, Booster Gold. But it definitely has increased my love for the team that is Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, Blue and Gold. Like, I like those are fucking best buds, dude.
I know. I bought that McFarlane set when I saw that release. I was like, I can't not get this. I don't buy toys very often, but I'm like, I need this fucking Blue Beetle Booster Gold. But another thing I want to mention too, which was very prevalent in 52, is the chalkboard. Like, those are all important clues for what comes next. Like, each one of those means something. None of those are wasted. Much like in 52, where it would tease you and hint at what was going to take place. So if you've read 52, were reading when it came out, and then have reread it, you can see and you can connect the dots where they were leading you. So it says Gog is dead, right? Like, that goes into a Justice Society story arc that was happening around this time, right? No trophy equals Stephanie. Who does Supernova work for, right? Because you learn that it's Booster's dad, which is a scumbag, you know? And there's and then 3,000 plus 8. That was the Justice League of the 31st century, right? Like that's why it says 3,000 plus 8. So there's all these different things that are tied into other stuff that just makes it cool to look at.
I like the vigilante, the vigilante not there. The vigilante, like he's gone through so many character changes throughout the years. It's so crazy. And like in Peacemaker, it's the best. Like
yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, but go ahead, continue.
No, it's so. And then look, Lightning Saga strikes twice. Like that's a Justice League storyline that Geoff Johns and Brad Meltzer co-write for that run that was happening during this time. So there's just so much cool little Easter eggs in here. But you know, I think like for me, I love this entire book. But like I said, issue 5, no joke, is the title of it, and it really is like it's something else. You know, it really, and it's then the cat like you know the different Beatles. You get the Golden Age one. You get, well, you will get Ted, and then it kind of leaves you in a different place than where you. I mean, I don't even think you probably have a little bit of an idea where it's going, but it's not going to go exactly where you think either. You know, because again, like the timeline is not completely right now. It's malleable because of like the crisis that happened. It is cool to see him team up, and it's him having to hold back and not talk about the murder and stuff like that. And
Booster makes a lot of sacrifices here, which goes against like you know his original my original thoughts of this guy, because like I said, like in the beginning of this book, a lot of the things he did was done out of selfish reasons. He was just a regular guy, former football player from the future, goes back in time with all this future tech and all this knowledge of the future to become a superhero in our time. And like, if that isn't fucking selfish, I don't know what is. But then he sacrifices the thing he wants the most, which is fame, fortune, and glory, for the greater good, to save like to save the timeline, literally, like, and multiple people in the process. That he sacrifices that, and I think that's fucking cool. That's such a cool thing for such a character that is so notorious for being a douchebag. Yeah, which is why Sean William Scott's going to be great.
Is he Booster?
I think he.
It's a fan cast.
He expressed that he wanted to play Booster.
I think he should. I think he would do a good job. I mean, look, Booster Gold is not a character that many people think of like as I don't know many people that would ever say he's their favorite. I've never heard it. I like him, but I don't say he's my favorite character. This run at the time was one of my favorite books coming out, hands down. Right. Like it was a book I looked forward to every single month it dropped, and you know where it goes from here. Like it's hard. I'm trying to. Yeah, it doesn't. Like the Batman stuff is kind of resolved, like the why he has that look, and that's kind of a cool little moment that he has. Right. Like, and I think it's in the next arc. It takes a character that otherwise was a joke, and the whole DC universe looked at him. The whole hero community looked at him like he's a joke. But then you see what he's doing behind the scenes, and now it's all an act. He's just playing up to what they expect him to do while saving the multiverse. What becomes the multiverse again, you know?
Yeah. And you know, they say you'll be the greatest hero the world will never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Great tagline.
Yeah. And like it's true, because everything he did is behind the scenes, like small little things here and there. It's a great book, and I think you know, this is one of you know, the highlights of Geoff Johns' like DC spearhead, right? I mean, obviously Flashpoint, obviously freaking the Green Lantern stuff, like all that stuff, like is freaking fantastic, phenomenal, beyond what we could ever like ask for, like because it literally stretched across, like the writings of Geoff Johns literally stretched across the whole the whole DC universe. But this is like it gives you a new perspective on if Booster didn't do any of this, none of this would have ever happened. Like, so it leads to the point that like, yeah, Booster is the greatest hero you'll never know, because he saved all these people. Again.
Yeah, it makes me want to see another Booster Gold book in this light. Like there was the Blue and Gold book that Dan Jurgens wrote and Ryan Sook did art on, that came out, was it last year or year
Yeah, it was
before?
no, it was the year before.
Yeah, so
before.
like that was a fun story, but like I really want to, and I'm glad that they're back together again. But I wouldn't even mind like the buddy cop thing in this scenario of them both together going through time and fixing the timeline. I mean, like I said, like it's hard not to like kind of say where this goes, but there's definitely room to kind of expand on this entire series and where this series ends up. You know, they did have that Futures End Booster Gold during the New 52. I don't know if you remember that. That was just like the one shot that they released in there. But like that also kept it connected back to this. So it's like Booster's outside of time. So does stuff go around him? Does he still remember everything? Like all that kind of aspect is pretty cool about his character. But yeah, I think it's a phenomenal book. And I think that if you're listening or watching this and you don't like Booster Gold, this will change your mind.
Yes. Yeah. It'll change your mind. I mean, like Ryan said, is he my favorite? No. But he's definitely not the guy I hate the most anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, but definitely go pick up the trade. It's easy to find out at least the first volume. I'm hoping if the first trade does well enough that they'll just put all of it back in print, because they are doing. I think it's a HBO Max or a Max TV show is I think what they're doing. With
Is it gonna be live action or is it gonna be animated?
Live action.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's still a possibility that Sean William Scott.
It's still a possibility that Sean William Scott. Yeah, maybe he can do what Ryan Reynolds did with Deadpool. Just keep speaking it into existence. You know?
Yeah, exactly. We just keep on talking about it. Make it happen. And like honestly, I was hoping Sean William Scott would be Guy Gardner, because that would have been like a better fit for me. But like I could also see the Booster Gold thing.
Yeah, I guess I could see Guy Gardner also.
Yeah,
but I feel like he's not. I feel like you need just a little bit of a rougher.
Yeah, someone like a little bit more rough around the edges, but I can totally see it. Like, I mean, can you imagine like Sean Williams got like a bowl cut?
Oh my god, I hope they don't do that fucking haircut when they bring Guy Gardner to live action. I hope they don't. That haircut is like something else, dude. I don't know whose idea that was to give him that haircut, because he didn't start out with the haircut and he doesn't have it now. So that was a decision at one point. Let's give this motherfucker a bowl cut. One of the weirdest decisions DC's ever pushed through. But one of the best decisions they ever pushed through was doing this series. Go pick it up. I can't say enough good things about it. That's all I got on this one, but it's such a fun read. Fun superhero comics. I mean, there's a little bit of dark elements, but you'll have a fun time reading it. So go pick it up.
It's a lot of fun, and if you know enough of your DC lore, like there's little Easter eggs here, like hidden, like peppered throughout this entire volume. That's going to be like, oh, that's crazy, like a lot of stuff with. I mean, I'm not going to ruin it, but there's a lot of fun stuff in the book itself that doesn't pertain, but like isn't necessary to the story, but it's fun to see that Geoff Johns included some of these key moments.
Definitely. So go pick up the book. Make sure you follow us on social media. All those links will be down below. Hit the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new vid goes up. And Dylan will be back with more.
Yeah, I'll be back. So I promise. Literally.
And on that note, we're out.
Later, buds.